Top executives from major Canadian grocery chains have committed to collaborating with the federal government to address the pressing issue of soaring food prices. Now, this comes amid growing concerns over an 8.5% year over year increase in grocery prices, which is well above the overall inflation rate. However, specific details regarding how this collaboration will stabilize prices remains elusive. Joining us now to shed some light on the potential implications of this meeting and what it means for Canadian consumers is Dr. Sylvain, Director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Sir, thank you again for your time today.
My pleasure.
So, do we have any more information on the specifics of this meeting between Ottawa and grocery store heads and what has come from it?
Well, actually, today, the Minister of Innovation, Mr. Champagne, actually announced that the Liberal government will actually be introducing a bill to uh, provide more authority to the Competition Bureau, which is really needed. For example, the bread price scandal, the investigation related to the bread price fixing scheme has been going on for 8 years and is still ongoing. So you can see that really the Bureau is having some issues getting data and prosecuting people. And so that happened today, so which is good news. But going back to the meeting on Monday with the Big Five, and I was in the room with them along with the minister. Uh, the atmosphere was a bit awkward at the beginning, but I actually do believe that the meeting overall was constructive. The meeting actually lasted over 2 hours, so I think we left with some sense of accomplishment.
All right, Dr. Charlebois, I want to go back to what you said about today's announcement. We're going to be giving more authority to the Competition Bureau if this bill were to be passed. What exactly would that look like?
Well, so for example, there is this efficiency clause allowing companies to merge to acquire other companies, and the focus has always been around pricing and fair pricing in the market, but not necessarily about choice, options, and the consumer. So the new bill, I think the intent of the new bill is to actually change that policy, change that shift a little bit. The other issue, of course, is power, access to data. Right now, companies can actually say no to the Bureau if they knock on their doors. With a new law, it is believed that perhaps the Bureau can come in if they ask questions, if they ask for data, well, the company wouldn't have a choice. So that would be actually a major shift here in Canada.
A major shift indeed, sir. Now, if we look at what other party members are saying, Jugmeet Singh is introducing a bill to combat what he calls price gouging. So, what do we know so far about his bill, and what are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, on Monday with the big five, the five companies, along with the minister, I made it quite clear that we actually failed to see any evidence of profiteering. Many economists have actually come to the same conclusion. The Bank of Canada, the Ag Committee in Ottawa, even the Bureau itself, actually, they've all concluded that there is no evidence of profiteering. And so that certainly that narrative needs to go away so we can focus on actual solutions, and making the bureau more stronger is actually really should be a priority, and I'm happy that the government is actually moving forward with this.
And talking about narratives, we know the Conservatives, on the other hand, they've pointed to tax issues like the price on carbon as a factor driving up the cost of food. So, how much of a role does the price on carbon play in rising food prices?
Well, I met the conservatives when I was in Ottawa on Monday, and I did claim that it's really difficult to see whether or not there is an appropriate coefficient that would tell us exactly how much the carbon tax is impacting retail prices. But we do believe that the carbon tax is actually impacting industrial prices, where consumers don't really influence pricing. As you may appreciate, the weather, our behavior, a lot of different things actually impact retail prices. So it's tough to actually set a correlation, but up the food chain, the impact of increased costs can actually be better measured, including the carbon tax.
All right, Dr. Charlebois, a quick 30 seconds left here, but what does the ideal strategy to address food inflation look like for you?
Two things. One, the one thing actually happened today, making the Competition Bureau more effective, stronger. And the other thing is the code of conduct. Both you and I have spoken about the code of conduct many months ago. It's still in the works. This would actually bring more discipline, less bullying within the supply chain, to give a chance to many manufacturers to survive and offer more choice and more competition to consumers. What I suggested to the group is to accelerate the process of adoption.
All right, Dr. Charlebois, thank you again for your time today.
My pleasure.